Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating and, let's be real, sometimes incredibly frustrating world of business accounting. Specifically, we're tackling the reality of getting paid. Because, as we all know, making a sale feels absolutely fantastic, right? But actually getting your hands on the cash you're owed, well, that is an entirely different battle.
Just consider the sheer scale of unpaid invoices sitting on corporate balance sheets right now. Take the number 11.8%. That actually represents Microsoft's accounts receivable compared to their total assets. To put that into perspective, we're talking about $48.6 billion in cash that Microsoft is just sitting around waiting to collect. It's wild. It really just proves that whether you're a local mom-and-pop shop or a massive global corporation, managing unpaid invoices is absolutely crucial to your survival.
So, here's our business owner's survival guide for today. We're going to walk through 6 key areas: the business of receivables, the hidden cost of payment, writing off bad debt, estimating the uncollectible, the power of promissory notes, and finally, factoring and turnover ratios.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the business of receivables. To really get a grip on this, we first need to establish exactly what happens when a customer doesn't pay cash up front. That promise to pay, that's our accounts receivable. Imagine you make a $950 credit sale to a company, let's say CompUSA. The very second that transaction happens, it's immediately recorded in your system. You debit your accounts receivable for $950, which shows your assets increasing, and you credit sales for $950 to record the revenue. It's basically a formal IOU built straight into your general ledger.
Moving on to Section 2, the hidden cost of payment.
Now, we certainly don't just rely on sending out paper invoices anymore. We've got modern payment methods. Think credit cards, Apple Pay, Venmo, Cash App. And honestly, these are fantastic for a few big reasons. They instantly open you up to a much broader customer base, and more importantly, they guarantee payment approval. Because the transaction literally won't process if the funds aren't there, you bypass the risk of non-payment entirely. Plus, boom, the cash hits your bank account way faster. But, and you knew there was a but coming, this incredible convenience comes at a pretty steep price.
Let's break down the math on this. Say you make a $100 sale, and the customer pays with a credit card that tags you with a 4% processing fee. You do not get $100 in cash. Nope. Instead, you debit cash for just $96. You then have to debit a credit card expense for that $4 fee, and finally, you credit your sales for the full $100. See, that 4% eats directly into your net income. This brilliant little expense is exactly how major credit companies get incredibly wealthy without actually manufacturing or selling any physical products. They're just charging a toll on your transaction. Next up, Section 3, writing off bad debt. So what happens when you aren't using a guaranteed payment method? Picture the ultimate nightmare scenario here. A customer buys $1,500 worth of inventory on net 30 terms. 30 days pass. Then 60. You send certified mail. You call them up. Suddenly, it's been 120 days, and they have completely disappeared into the wind. Ghosted. When a deadbeat customer pulls this, you've got a financial mess to clean up. In the accounting world, we have 2 completely distinct ways to handle this lost cash: the simple, reactive direct write-off method and the more strategic, predictive allowance method. Let's talk about the direct write-off first. It's definitely the easiest approach. If you finally realize a $520 balance is just never getting paid, you just wipe it out. You debit bad debt expense for $520, which of course drops your net income, and you credit accounts receivable to clear their balance. Done. However, there's a catch. To actually follow the matching principle in accounting, this write-off really needs to be recorded in the exact same accounting period that the original sale was made.
Which brings us to Section 4, estimating the uncollectible.
Look, relying entirely on reactive write-offs, not a great strategy for a growing business. That's why we use the proactive allowance method, where we actually estimate bad debt in advance using one of 3 formulas. You've got the percent of sales method, the percent of receivables method, and the aging of accounts receivable method. Let's use the percent of sales method as an example. Imagine a piano store called Musicland. They might look at their historical data and estimate that, say, 0.6% of their $400,000 in credit sales will simply never be paid. So they record that $2,400 expense at the end of the year, essentially setting up a financial cushion before any specific customers even default. Pretty smart, right?
And tracking this over time brilliantly illustrates the ticking clock of unpaid invoices. Looking at a standard aging of accounts receivable report, pay close attention to how the estimated uncollectible percentage behaves. If a bill is not due yet, there's only a tiny 2% chance it goes unpaid.
But as the days tick by, that probability absolutely skyrockets. By the time an invoice is 90 days past due, the chance of non-payment hits a massive 40%. And honestly, in the real world, for a lot of small businesses, an invoice 90 days late might actually have a 60% or higher chance of never being collected.
Let's pivot to Section 5, the power of promissory notes.
So what exactly is your move when an account is aging aggressively and the customer keeps dodging payment? Well, you corner them into a formal agreement. If you finally catch up with that customer who owes you money, you can compel them to sign a promissory note. This is a legally binding document that takes their stagnant, non-performing account receivable and legally converts it into an interest-bearing note receivable. You lock in the exact principal amount, the interest rate, and the exact, non-negotiable date the money is due.
Now, to calculate exactly what they owe you, we use a straightforward formula, applying the 360-day banker's rule. Let's step through the math together real quick. You take the face value, let's say a $1,000 note, and multiply it by the interest rate. We'll use 12%. Then, you multiply that by the time fraction. If they have 90 days to pay, you divide 90 by the 360 banking days in a year, giving you 0.25. So, 1,000 times 0.12 times 0.25 equals exactly $30 in interest generated. When that note matures, the customer owes you $1,030.
But as we all know in business, things don't always go according to plan. A dishonored note happens when a customer straight up defaults on that formal promissory note. If they fail to pay a $600 note that had already accrued $15 in interest, you don't just lose the $600. No, that entire $615 total reverts right back into their accounts receivable balance. And if they still refuse to pay up, well, that bloated $615 total eventually just gets written off as bad debt. All right, our final stop, Section 6, factoring and turnover ratios. Waiting around to see if a dishonored note will eventually pay out simply isn't an option if you've got payroll to meet on Friday, right? So we need some strategic lifelines for when a business is absolutely desperate for cash flow and can't wait on long collections. When you need cash instantly, you look into pledging or factoring. Pledging means using your receivables as collateral to secure a bank loan. Factoring is when you literally sell your accounts receivable to a collection agency. For example, you might sell $20,000 in receivables, yielding immediate cash in your bank account minus a factoring fee. Now, while textbook examples might show a friendly little 4% factoring fee, in the real messy world of bad debt, collection agencies might take 60% or more of the face value simply because they are absorbing the massive risk of hunting down those customers. So the absolutely crucial point here is knowing your efficiency before you get to that point of desperation. The account receivable to turnover ratio formula, which is your total sales divided by your average accounts receivable, is your ultimate metric. It tells you exactly how quickly and how often your business is actually converting those credit sales into real usable cash in the bank over the course of a year. Which brings us to the ultimate question for any business owner or financial manager. Take a look at your ledger right now. Are your unpaid invoices just a lost cause, or are they a financial asset waiting to be leveraged? By understanding exactly how to estimate bad debt, enforce promissory notes, and rigorously track your turnover ratios, you can take the power back. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope it changes the way you look at the true cost of doing business.